The, the unborn person doesn't have constitutional rights.
Even Hillary Clinton admits in her sick, twisted way, life does begin at conception. The baby is a person, even though he or she is unborn as of yet. And the mother is carrying a child, not simply carrying a pregnancy. What is less clear is why Hillary Clinton thinks it's morally or ethically justifiable to deny equal protection to that unborn child. In fact, 41 medical textbooks and medical experts denounce the argument from progressive extremists that the bodily autonomy of a woman trumps the bodily autonomy of her unborn child, since liberals argue that there can be no bodily autonomy for the child because the child is not yet a child. That is false, according to these scientists and experts in their field of study. The life cycle of the mammal begins when a sperm enters an egg, reads a biology textbook on Nature. Human life begins at fertilization, says the textbook Developing Human, Clinically Oriented Embryology. Fertilization being the process during which a sperm unites with an ovum to form a single cell called a zygote. A zygote is the beginning of a new human being. Another embryology textbook called Patton's Human Embryology concludes it is the penetration of the ovum by a sperm and the resulting mingling of nuclear material each brings to the union that constitutes the initiation of the life of a new individual. Even the United States government acknowledges the scientific veracity that life begins at conception, and not at viability, not at birth, and certainly not when we feel like it begins, as progressive feminist Melissa Harris Perry would have us believe. Fertilization, says our government's National Institutes of Health, fertilization is the process of union of two gametes, whereby the somatic chromosome number is restored and the development of a new individual is initiated. Well, the science is clear. What about the morality?
Try to practice my religion in a very devout way and follow the teachings of my church in my own personal life. But I think it is really, really important that those of us who have deep faith lives don't feel like we could just substitute our own views for everybody else in society, regardless of their views.
To remove all references to morality dictates that we remove all idea of right and wrong from our society. If government can't regulate morality to a certain limited extent, then our government is already outside their boundaries in declaring murder, kidnapping, rape, and robbery to be crimes. These crimes are crimes because they violate the basic principles of morality. You don't have to be a Christian to believe that, but the fact of the matter is the fundamental core of morality stems from God. Without the idea of God, the idea of human rights is obsolete. Without the idea of God, the idea of treating our fellow man with decency, with respect, is merely a personal choice. Without the idea of God, of morals, of good and evil, there is no concept of basic rights. We are nothing, we are given nothing by our government, endowed with nothing by nature, if not for God giving us the inherent right to life.
But why don't you trust women? Why doesn't Donald Trump trust women to make this choice for themselves?
Well, let's be very clear here. This isn't about trusting women to make the right decisions for ourselves. This is about the unborn men, the unborn women, brutally ripped from their mother's wombs, who will never have the choice to make a choice for themselves. But the thing is, as I said before, science is clear. Life begins at conception. The moment a sperm fuses with an egg, that is the moment new life is formed. Therefore, either the value of life also begins at conception, or we're entering a dangerous realm where our government decides whose lives matter and whose lives do not deserve protection. You can't pretend to be personally pro-life while still politically supporting abortion. You just can't. You can't have it both ways. Either it is a life or it is not a life. Either you support bodily autonomy for all women, including unborn women, or you don't. Either you support choice and you support freedom, or you support abortion. Even Planned Parenthood themselves admitted all the way back in 1952 that abortion kills the life of a baby. They don't argue that the unborn life is not a life. They simply don't care that their business is built around extinguishing as many lives as they possibly can. And to bring this around to where we began, neither does Hillary Clinton. And that's my final point. You can reach me on Twitter at Liz_Wheeler. I do read all your tweets. And if you liked the show, please send me an email at oann.com/contact. Remember, we're coming to you prime time now at our brand new 9 p.m. Eastern time slot. And if you don't have cable, don't worry. We're available online on cloudtv.com. So catch Tipping Point tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, and have a good night.